Good evening and welcome to the magic of the FA Cup. And another master of video. Actually, Ollie, yours is better. Evening, Ollie. How are you doing?
I don't know. I actually really do like your intro. I do dig the music. It's cool. I like it. I like the shot of you jumping off the statue as well. I think that's my favourite bit.
Yeah, I nearly fell off that one. But any beers tonight, or are you leaving them alone tonight?
Oh no, always. I think I've only ever done one live stream when I've not been drinking. So
a bit of an old man's beer, but what the hell, enjoying the show. So the magic of the FA Cup kicking off with Man City playing Swindon as we speak. And, you know, initially there was lots of, let's call it palaver about, City having a mixed strength team, etc. So, you know, we had them talking about Pep and Lilo, who got positive COVID, major outbreak at City. So there's no manager, no assistant manager. But the last time we had a chat, there was no Mikel Arteta. And I thought it did have an impact. So we have the wonderful Rodolfo Borrell managing Man City tonight, giving it the big one. He looks a bit like that.
Never heard of him. I've never heard of him.
He looks a bit like that goalie who ate the pie in that. Who was that? I can't remember. I think his name was Shaw as well, like my surname. I can't remember what club it was, but he was winning a bet, wasn't he, for eating a pie in the FA Cup? He was the goalkeeper.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Was it playing for Sutton? I've got a feeling he was Sutton.
You would be hard pushed for me to get that right, but that was it kind of rings a bell. It rings a bell.
Yeah, and it was a bet, and he'd won money at the bookies, and he got badly punished for it. But
he got punished, did he?
Oh yeah, I think he got.
That's
fined
hard.
For that.
So that's to get the FA Cup at the end of the day, isn't it?
Oh, I've got City on in the background. Would there be any pies eaten on the sideline by Rodolfo tonight? I don't know. But talking about Rodolfo,
Swindon look like they're playing all right. To be fair, they're up for it. Oh, no,
who's this?
That's Rodri.
No, it looks like either Rodri or Cancelo. It's not. It's Ronaldo. You can tell by the earrings.
It's Ronaldo.
This is Ronnie turning up for City that he's so pissed off with the fridge at United. He's now on the show.
You really do dislike Man United, don't you?
Yeah.
I swear I've spent more times on shows with you where you just rinsing Man United.
But it's after all these years, and I'm going to chat with you through some FA Cup history and why it's the magic of the FA Cup in a minute, Ollie. Because City have been the joke of the country for decades. You forget about it. The fact that United maybe 1 or 2 years have been a bit of a joke, but City have been a joke for a decade. I just want to show you something. Back in, when I'm really starting to watch football now as a kid, early teenager. So you can see from here, and there's one weird match that I was actually at that's been missed off here. So in 76-77, to be fair, City lost at home in the 5th round to a good Leeds team. But look at 1978. City lost at home in the 4th round to Shrewsbury. And then the next season, it didn't get any better. 79-80, they lost at home to Halifax. Somehow miraculous, and I always remember this. I went to the first game. There was that fantastic final. Ooh, there was a chance then. And it was that wonderful final where it's always remembered for Ricky Villa scoring the winner in the replay. That wonderful dribble through the defence. But that first game was just fantastic. It was Hutchinson scored for City at both ends. An own goal and a header. And we always forget, if you ever look back on that game, it's absolutely storming goal by a player called Steve McKenzie, who was a young player playing for Man City in that replay before Ricky Villa did all his magic. And City were managed by Malcolm Allison that day. But it didn't get much better. The 4th round, City got knocked out the next season by Coventry, by Brighton.
Had you ever won the FA Cup before, obviously, you got all the riches?
Well, it's funny you should say that. And believe me, you didn't queue us up for that. Before the big money, that was the last time City won, which was 1969. It was against Leicester. Peter Shilton was in goal for Leicester that day as a youngster, with Alan Clark up front before he went
He
to
wasn't
leave.
bad, Peter Shilton, was he? Wasn't
Not a bad player.
player.
It was a 1-0 win for City, scored by a guy called Neil Young. Before he went on, with Crazy Horse and all those wonderful albums by Neil Young that he went on to produce. But before that, he scored.
Very talented.
And there we see Tony Buck carrying the trophy in '69, Francis Lee on the bottom left. You got Mike Doyle in the middle, whose son plays at City now, and somewhere Glimpardo, and I think that's Colin Bell on the far right. But back at the history, because you've got to understand the Cup history to understand the magic of the FA Cup. City lost to Blackpool in 1983. And further up the line, look, they've lost to United. And, we said it, we lost to United in the 5th round in 95. We lost in the 3rd round in 86. Look at all those years, and that's just a snapshot.
Let's just not forget about when Wigan beat you, though.
Yes. Well, I wanted to talk about a couple of games. I remember one FA Cup match I went to, and weirdly, it's not on there. It was 1989, and it was a Saturday afternoon. It was chucking it down, and I went to see City play Brentford. I was living in London, and it was after uni. I was trainee manager or whatever I was. City got annihilated 3-1 at Brentford. In those days, City were in Division 2, Brentford were Division 3, but it was an embarrassment. And I had to get out early. Actually, there's a great story to this. You're not going to believe this. But so I got out early because it was my ex-wife's now, Bank's annual dinner. It was up in January or whenever it was. And I'd had a terrible day. I got soaked. We'd lost 3-1 in the mud, in the rain. I tried to get out early and they wouldn't let me out. And all these fans came behind me. I got trampled by a police horse. It was the bad old days of football. So I had a terrible day. And I got to this hotel where the annual dinner was early. And I'm sat at this bar stool in my dinner suit early before everyone else gets there ready. And I had a terrible day. And you'll never guess what happened. There was a flash of lights outside, and then this guy came and sat on the next bar stool to me. And I turned to him, and I went, "Good evening." And he said, "Good evening." And I promise you, it was Paul Newman. Paul Newman. When they were doing, it was when they were doing the Colour and Money. I just said good evening, and he said good evening back to me. It was when they were doing Colour and Money with Tom Cruise.
Oh, what a movie!
That was the movie that was out. It was the redone one of The Hustler. And it's
the follow-up to The Hustler. Yeah.
I sat next to Paul Newman.
That's amazing.
So
the god of cinema. He's just a legend.
So even when you think life is absolutely rogering you can have a silver lining at the end of the day. You meet Paul Newman at the day you got trampled by a police horse and lost at Brentford.
That's it. You know what? I'd take getting trampled by a police horse if I got to meet Paul Newman. So,
What a god.
What a legend.
So, should we have a look? So let's have a look at I tell you what, should we go? Yeah, Arsenal are playing on
Nottingham Forest on Sunday at 5.
Sunday. Forest.
But let's not forget, we are the most successful team in the competition. We do.
Tell us about Arsenal. Steve Cooper doing bloody well at Forest. I'd be worried if I was you.
I'm not worried in the sense that we are playing pretty well at the moment. I think we will take a lot from that Man City game. There's a lot we need to learn, other than my drunken ramblings on my show. Hopefully, I'm more coherent today. But I had been drinking all day, to be fair, and I was hitting the Disaronnos. I've never drank Disaronno before, but I tell you what, it really does go down quite smoothly. But I think we'll take a lot from that Man City game. Obviously, the Liverpool game got called off on Thursday, so we will be rested. And don't get me wrong, I think Nottingham Forest will give us a good game. It's the FA Cup, though, isn't it? I mean, you never. It doesn't even matter. Form goes out the window. Whoever scores that first goal is the most important. If Nottingham Forest get a goal, then it could be an iffy moment. But I mean, I was listening to a few podcasts the other day, and I obviously we've slipped down the line from where we used to be, winning titles and going unbeaten and doing doubles. But there's only a few cups you can win, and if one of those is the Carling Cup or so Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, then you'll take it. So because there's only a few cups, so everyone's going to be left out. So I believe in taking every trophy seriously. Even if we were in the Europa Conference, I would have wanted to win that. So I do want to win it. We are the most team that's won it the most times. I do think we'll win, but it could be closer than I think. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be a hard game for us?
I think Steve Cooper is a brilliant manager. I think he is destined for really good things. He's like Potter at Brighton. He's out of that ilk, and I think he's been in the England setup as well. He is a fab manager. He did a great job at Swansea. He's utterly turned Forest around because, Chris Hughton was the manager at Forest, and I rate Chris Hughton, and it was too much for him. But Steve Cooper has revolutionised it. So I don't think it'll be an easy game. Forest will give them everything they've got. I'll be interested to see if Arteta plays a full-strength side. What do you think?
He'll definitely rest players.
Then you're vulnerable.
But we have got a lot of players away on AFCON. So, I think he'll bring Holding in. He'll probably Gabriel's suspended anyway.
Sorry, let's hold the play. Bernardo Silva's just scored for City.
I've just seen it. How are you ahead of me?
I don't know.
Or maybe it's I don't know.
Listening on the radio.
Are you on the radio? Sound travels faster.
Well, not the radio. I'm online.
You're online. I know. Maybe I am, but that's game over now. Then, isn't it? Might as well turn it off. Game over.
No. Keep going. Sorry, you were
saying
like
you want Swindon to get a goal.
So who will be playing that doesn't usually play? El Neni, players like that.
El Neni's AFCON. So.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry.
And Jack has not been training, so I think he's going to have to bring. Lokonga will come in. I think he'll start Smith Rowe because he's been coming off the bench. Balogun's apparently he's going away. He's going to go on loan to Middlesbrough. So
who's that young superstar lad everyone's raving about?
Eddie Nketiah?
No. Young.
You mean from Luton, Patino.
Yes.
He might. I reckon he might start on the bench. He'll come on, but it's still early on in his.
Nikita shop window.
Yeah, Nketiah will start. I think. I don't think you'll see too many changes because we want to win. We want to win something.
And Arteta wants to keep him, and I'd keep him as well. He could be part of your new young revolution.
Oh yeah,
he's
a good player, but he wants to go. And like Paul Merson said, you think if you're going to leave Arsenal, things are going to be rosy, but they aren't always rosy. So, but then that's down to him. I'm just thinking back to where we was lockdown, wasn't it? And we played you at Wembley, and my dad was round, and I said we're going to lose this. 4 or 5-0. I said it's done. And the first goal went in. And I went so crazy. Neighbours were shouting out the window for me to shut up because
that's the best I've seen Arsenal play since last week.
I couldn't believe how we actually won that, and then to win it in the final. Then and also there's an Amazon documentary going on. Wouldn't it be nice to see us win something? Even if it is the Carabao Cup, just for that Amazon documentary. So, I believe we've got to go out. We'll go for it, and he'll probably start. He won't rip the whole squad apart and then go for it like that.
Cool. I think we've got Rich here with us.
Hey.
Hello, Rick. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, mate. Yourself?
Yep. City have just scored their first goal. Bernardo Silva at Swindon. They these guys that I think there was only about 3 players with COVID in the end. So, I think it was mainly a backroom thing. Mind you, three players with COVID. Jurgen Klopp.
You were doing that thing that Liverpool did on Thursday and lied about everything.
Well,
but then we saw City cheat against Arsenal on Saturday. So, we're getting used to it by now.
But it'd be interesting. Obviously, it's the Liverpool's advantage to get
another goal.
Bernardo's just put it over the bar. But interesting. This AFCON, Liverpool probably the most affected team because they've got 2 brilliant players in Salah and Mane who are out at AFCON. Klopp must be doing the sums, doing the date shuffle, etc., etc. If he can even gain one more game out of playing the COVID card for them to come back, he's got to do it, hasn't he? If he does the stats.
Well, if you can, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I thought the ethos was, the FA and the Premier League said, hang on, if you've got COVID infection, you've got to play the kids. You've got, it's a level playing field. And I thought, I was stunned that game was called off. Maybe I'm doing a disrespect and like most of the team was out, but
the rules are different.
They need transparency is the way forward. They should have just named every player that was affected.
Premier League have different rules to the EFL, so I think that's why the EFL called it off. Whereas if it had been the Premier League, it would have gone ahead. So, yeah, I do think they lied. I do think they're paying the right people. Thus, we'll probably play them with a full strength side in 2 weeks, get absolutely battered, and.
Rick, this is when Ollie gives us the conspiracy theory about the Twin Towers and it being the work of the BlackRock, the security company.
I'll tell you what, there's more
to
conspiracy against Arsenal than there was in that Twin Towers. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's going to give us all that. So
the Mandela effect, I'm telling you, Mandela effects ain't got nothing on what is against Arsenal right now. That's what I'm saying.
How you doing, Rick? You had a good week?
Yeah. Busy. Back into work, back into the smoke, back into the swing of things.
You in the office?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And Amanda back in the office too?
No, she's fully from home. It's the boy goes to school behind the office, so it just makes sense for me to go in with him.
And what footy shirts Trey wearing these days?
He's wearing City, and he's got a Hungarian national jersey.
Hungarian national jersey.
I like that.
Yeah.
How? Yeah. What's that?
The guy who did the painting in our place was Hungarian, and the guy's name is Puskás.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Yeah. So he the jersey he gave to Trey was Puskás, because we gave him a lot of University of Texas stuff as a thanks for the work he did.
And he got a Puskás jersey. That's pretty classy. Your kid walking around in a Puskás jersey.
Yeah.
So
I always said I've never had a dog, but one day I will get a German Shepherd, and I'm going to call it Beckenbauer. I have no doubts. My ambition is to have a German Shepherd dog and call it Beckenbauer.
I thought you were going to say I'm going to have a dog. I'm going to name it after some Hungarian player. But...
No, I want a German Shepherd and call it Beckenbauer. But Rick, you're on tomorrow lunchtime. Fulham are away at Bristol City. They're quite a good team at the moment, Bristol City. What's your thoughts?
Well, we've got a couple of games against them coming up in quick succession, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we've got them in the cup, and then we've got them in the league. I've grown a little bit cautious. We haven't played since mid-December because we've had a couple of games called off for COVID, but we hit a flat patch right before then. We drew like 5 matches on the spin, and then lost to Sheffield United most recently. But we drew against Preston, we drew against Derby, we drew against Luton. If you want to win the league, those aren't teams you should be drawing against at that back before the.
Bournemouth seem to be doing their best not to win the league at the moment.
Well,
they had a big gap over third place, and now it's gone.
No, it's gone. Fulham, if they win the next, they've got 2 games in hand, and they're 4 points off the top. I was reading something the other day. There's, in the last 10 years, 9 of the last 10 teams that have been top of the league at Christmas have gone on for automatic promotion. The only team that hasn't in that period is Leeds back in 2019, where they fell apart in the second half of the season and dropped down the table. But all the other teams have gone over 9 years have gone for automatic promotion. I mean, stats are stats and history is history, and maybe this time it is different. But with the way that Fulham are playing, with the way Mitrovic is scoring goals, if we can keep hold of him through this transfer window, then assuming we can get our mojo back, I'm confident in the prognosis for the rest of the season.
Why
impressed
did you
you?
put Fulham, Rick,
Sorry.
if you don't mind me asking? Sorry.
What's that?
Why did you choose to support Fulham?
Well, my accent may betray my heritage, but when I first moved over here about 16 years ago, I lived in Angel, and it was strongly
You're an Arsenal
advised.
fan, no?
It was strongly advised that I not support Arsenal. But Fulham at the time had a group of Americans in the squad. It was Brian McBride, Carlos Montenegro.
Yeah.
Then we had those sterling years with Clint Dempsey and Eddie Johnson.
Clint Dempsey, he was a great player. He was an amazing player.
He was awesome.
They were all those great USA players when USA when they beat England as well. Oh, that was a great game.
Claudio Reyna played for City in those days as the American captain.
Yeah, that USA was so good back in those days. I mean,
we had Howard in goal for Everton. It was Everton's goalkeeper. He was bloody brilliant.
I mean, if you would have said, would USA ever beat England in a World Cup group stage? You'd be like, no way. I remember watching it. I was like, how is this happening?
But I think it was the 2008 World Cup that Italy won. The US took them deep in the group stage.
US got so far.
Properly.
So far. They got further than England anyway.
Yeah. But,
sorry, back to...
Was that when
so you had that...
Cannavaro was the captain of Italy when they won the World Cup that stage, wasn't it?
Who's that?
Cannavaro? Yeah. But you're right. USA took them all the way. It's amazing. Yeah. So who impresses you this season in the team, Rick?
Well, it's great to see Tom Kearney coming back. His presence in the midfield was definitely missed, and I mean Mitrovic has been just utterly insane. Through the first 21 games, he had something like 23 goals. Like it's just a goal scoring machine, and I get the Sky Sports pop-ups on my phone every time there's a Fulham goal, and every time I see one, it's not Mitrovic. I'm like, that's not how you spell Mitrovic. The signing we got from Brazil, God, I can't remember his name. The Brazilian lad is, it was a bit of a
I was reading about him this day.
Yeah, it was a bit of a coup at the beginning of the season. He's been doing a great job through the midfield. And the defense can be spotty, which is always a little bit of a concern. Another American is anchoring the defense, Tim Ream. Quality player, but the back line has been streaky for the last probably 6 or 7 years, to be fair. Just haven't ever gotten that that standout Vincent Kompany type to be a firm consistent head in the on the back line. But the goalie we picked up is the ex Spurs reserve keeper. That guy's been playing out of his skin. The Bournemouth game was a great example of this is sheer athleticism. So I feel real fortunate that we were able to pick him up. But,
are you confident about Bristol City? Are you confident that you'll beat them and go to the next round?
Fingers and toes are crossed. Having not been able to see him for the last, given they hit that flat patch and not being able to see him for the last month, I'm hoping they come back rested and full of strength and ready to really give it to them. The thing I love about the championship is it's a proper physical game. So I'm hoping that the rest period that the enforced rest period will play to will get them back into it.
Talking about pop-ups on your phone, Rick, when it pops up on Facebook on your memories, that it was 5 years ago, you and I were at Craven Cottage. I think it was New Year's Day or the 2nd of January. On that day, it was like -5 off the river. And we had like 5 layers each on. We were there and there was snow all over the steps. And we're kind of trying to jump around because the stone was so freezing. I've never been so cold in my bloody life. Do you remember I swapped seats? Seats that you were on the wind side coming in from the river to give me protection from the cold. Because Rick, you can't see how big Rick is from here. and how little I am really. So that was
Very,
a wise
very
move.
gentleman.
I would have had hypothermia
Very
without
gentleman.
listening today. I would have had hypothermia. But, cool. Rich, my boy, how you doing?
Evening, gents.
Evening. Introduce you to Ollie and introduce to Rick. Who's a Fulham fan. Ollie's an Arsenal fan, and we co-host quite a lot of shows. How you doing, Rich? You all right?
Yeah, really good. Apart from being an Evertonian at the moment.
The reason I invited you on is I thought you might need a bit of therapy. I thought you might need. I thought you might. I just thought you might need a bit of therapy. Welcome relief. So
yeah, not much fun being an Evertonian at the moment. 1 win in 13. So to put that in the context,
but that was against us. So you know what I mean?
I know. And the second win in the 15 was against Dan's lot, Norwich. Hi, Dan.
I think Everton can be the only team that's probably got a worse record than Norwich in the last 10 games, actually.
It's saying something.
Actually, we're playing Everton next, aren't we?
We've got you a week tomorrow, so we might have to have a chat while that one's going on. See who's going to be worse.
What do you think about your January transfer window so far? Getting the lad from Rangers, but looks like Dean is heading out.
Yeah.
Maybe Chelsea.
Yeah, so Patterson looks like a talent. So really highly rated at Rangers, but struggled to get into the first team because their captain played in the same position. But lots of caps for Scotland, really highly regarded at Rangers and seen as one for the future. And the other kind of player we brought in is Michaelenko from Dynamo Kiev at left back, which is pretty much Dean's replacement. But the whole Dean situation is a strange one. So he's been asked to play in a much more regress role this year by Benitez, not Rafa, Benitez. I'm not using his first name. And pretty much he used to be one of our main attacking outlets. He would get you 10, 12 assists every single season. He hasn't got a single one this year. He's being asked to play as that defensive left back, and it doesn't suit his game. So that appears to be kind of the crux of his falling out with Benitez.
Well, I watched that situation with interest, and he's probably at 28. Pep would go, no, he's not young enough for me to mould, but bloody hell, City need a left back. And when I see players like Dean, I just think, we're desperate. Our left back's in, well, he's actually out on bail, but, we haven't got a left back because Zinchenko.
We won't talk about him.
No.
Zinchenko is really a left midfielder. We haven't had a left back for about 4 years properly.
Yeah, I think he would do a great job at City. I think if you want that left back who bombs on, he has a left foot from God. He really does. He will get you 10, 15 assists a season easily. And his defensive stats are good as well. He's one of the best tacklers in the league.
Chelsea, isn't he? He's going to go to Chelsea. I can feel in my boots. Then they'll have 3 good left backs.
Yeah, well, the problem is with Chelsea only want to bring him in on loan because if they bring him in on a full time, they're going to have 5 left backs at the end of the season, which isn't kind of a sustainable squad position. So Chelsea are talking about a loan. We can't afford a loan. So to get through the financial fair play rules, we need to make £35 million in this transfer window. We can't really spend it. We need to generate £35 million in transfers during this window, and everybody knows it. It's
you can sell us Calvert-Lewin. I'll give you 35.
No.
Absolutely not. He's always injured anyway.
Is he fit now, Rich?
He's on one hope. He started to come back, so he played the full 90 last week. But he's going to be rested next. He's going to be rested tomorrow. So that means the joy that is Solomon Rondon probably plays up front.
Oh. He's looked a bit lumbering so far, hasn't he?
Seriously, turning circle of an oil tanker.
Yeah.
Probably the same weight as one as well.
He's like a poor man's Mitrovic.
Yeah. Whereas I would have loved Mitrovic. I actually really rate Mitrovic as a striker. But for some reason, whenever he comes up into the Premier League, he doesn't quite do it. So I don't know whether he's just that kind of, incredible in the Championship, okay in the Prem.
Yeah, he loves the physicality of the Championship, the bully boy of the Championship, but you can't necessarily bully your way to goals in the Premier League.
No, they tend to push back a lot harder.
Yeah.
And to be fair, generally just bigger.
Yeah, the centre backs will sort him out,
Yeah.
So, Rich, you've got a bit of respite. Remind you, I'm just looking down at who you're playing.
Oh.
Hull.
Oh yeah, you're away at Hull.
I hate to say this, Rich.
Tomorrow afternoon.
I could see a slip up there. I'm sorry, but I can see a slip up there. Like, yeah,
absolutely 100% the same. I think Hull are going to win.
I mean,
There's a
I love this guy. I mean,
Forest are on fire, but Forest are playing really well. I would be worried if I was Arsenal.
Oh, don't be silly. Come
Hull
on.
are struggling along.
We won it the most times out of anyone.
Yeah.
Are you worried, Rich?
Yeah. So, okay. So at the moment, we have a track record of conceding in two different ways. One is set pieces, and Hull will know that.
Yeah.
The second is by the ball being played kind of behind the two central midfielders, and we're getting overpowered in midfield. So, any team with half an ounce is countering that. The only way our system works at the moment is actually against the big six. So, beat Arsenal, drew at Man U.
Why?
Kind of drew with Spurs. It's just, I think that's the way Rafa's teams are set up. They're set up to be combative, and I think just for some reason the system works against the bigger teams. It doesn't work against the likes of Watford, who beat us 5-2 at home. Crystal Palace, who beat us 3-2 at theirs. We can't. They just pass the midfield.
I was there at that game. I have to be honest, Everton were really quite poor.
That was one of our better performances this season in the second half.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. But I was showing Ollie a bit of history earlier before Ollie was born. And there's some of the suffering that I went through as a City fan. And actually, I flicked this up in there. And you look at 1970. So you got 79. We lost at home to Halifax. The season before, we lost 2-0 at home to Shrewsbury. Yeah. Yeah. And even in 83, we lost to Blackpool at home. You know, or get even closer, 1991, lost to bloody Notts County. So, sorry, shit does happen. And I was reminiscing about the time in 89, when I was there when City lost 3-0 at Brentford in the pouring rain, when City were in Division 2 and Brentford in Division 3. So, I mean, that's, if you're a Hull fan or you're a Brentford fan, you say, hey, that's the magic of the FA Cup. But fucking hell, it hurts if you're on the other side of it.
Yeah, and Everton have had their fair share of those. So, I mean, over the years, we've lost to kind of Brentford when they were kind of down in kind of League One. We've lost to Shrewsbury. We've lost to Oxford. It's horrific run of form in the FA Cup.
It would really help, though, wouldn't it? It'd help Everton, the confidence. Is Rafa a dead man walking?
No, I don't think he is. I think with the fans he is. I mean, he came into the club on a negative.
Yeah.
So we had that little burst in August, which kind of probably got him back to neutral in some people's eyes. But since then, as I said, so one win since September. But it does appear that he's won over Farhad Moshiri. So
he's gained total control at Everton, hasn't he? The director of football's gone. So he's got power over all the transfers and all the running of the football club.
It would appear that way, yeah. So there's a strategic footballing review underway at the moment, which is not clear in any way, shape, or form what that's going to take, what it's going to look like. But yeah, I mean, there's pressure starting to come on the board now. So a couple of games ago, there was the fans walked out on the 27th minute. Some did, some didn't. The fans who did got booed by the fans who didn't. So the fan base is starting to fracture against itself. Yeah, it's not good at the moment being an Evertonian. I think a lot of people are comparing this to the Mike Walker years back in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Ex-Norwich,
now running his own skip hire firm.
Yep, he's done well.
There's money in skips. There is money in skips.
Yeah, because Benitez set fire to a skip.
I can't see Rafa managing a skip hire business in the future, I have to say.
No, I think he earns a bit too much for that. He's quite happy with his house over in West Kirby.
Yeah, he's had that a while, yeah. He's probably going to get burgled tonight.
I'm looking at the drive.
They'll know he's away at Hull. So I reckon the burglars will be planning a weekend raid at Rafa's.
Yeah, we need more sheets outside of his house, I think.
Seriously, prediction, Rich? You really think Everton will lose?
Yeah, 2-1 Hull.
Shit.
They'll hit the set pieces. It's either that or a Tom Huddleston 40-yarder.
Oh God.
Anyway, from the negatives on to Norwich.
I'm really hoping. I'm going to pass. I was hoping for some Rich, if it counts for anything, I hope Everton do get a little bit of smiles and respite. They bloody need it. I actually think Rafa's a good manager and a decent bloke, and I hope he pulls Everton out of it. They're going to need. They have been so unlucky with injuries, to be fair. It's been tough. But we were talking earlier about Nottingham Forest, and I'm a massive fan of Steve Cooper there, who
sounds like Ian. You want Nottingham Forest to beat us? I don't know.
No, I'm just
I don't understand.
Sounds just like that.
Like Potter
sounds
at Brighton,
just like that.
Yeah,
and Scotty Parker at Bournemouth. I'm a fan of those young, up and coming managers that you see one day will be probably England managers, Steve Cooper or Potter, or I think that they're the future. Would you take one of those guys at Everton, Potter at Everton? Because was he not in the frame?
Yeah, Marcel Brands wanted Graham Potter as the next manager. Didn't go through for whatever reason, and I think that ultimately that's led to his exit. I mean, he was consistently overruled. So it would appear that kind of Farhad Moshiri has a lot of say on who the next manager is. So he was the one that chose Sam Allardyce. He was the one that chose Rafa Benitez.
Yeah, he's got to go.
So, yeah, he's not got a good footballing judgment, as old Farhad, unfortunately. What we're doing off the pitch is great. The club, as ever, community-wise, is run incredibly well. We've got the new stadium going through in a couple of years.
Looks stunning.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a game changer. It's just
especially when you're in the Championship, eh?
Well, yeah, there is that.
Sorry, I'm only joking, Rich.
I don't know. I mean, could Everton
I'm
or Newcastle
still
be
bitter
in the
about the one
Championship?
game that you won in the last 12? It had to be against us. I'm still bitter. I'm still very bitter about it.
Yeah, it was that screamer from Damari Gray, wasn't it?
I know.
It was a bloody good goal. It was a beautiful goal. I remember it. But Rich, thank you. For one, as I say, I wish you well tomorrow. I hope you go. You're welcome to stick around, listen to the others, or go and enjoy the City game. City are 2-0 up, by the way.
Stick on, Rich. Stick on, because we're going to keep going. It's going to be great.
Dan, good to hear from you. Had a busy week?
Yeah, albeit day off today, so not busy today. So,
and you're looking for some solace. You're looking for some respite for Norwich's season in the FA Cup. Remind me, who are they playing and when are they playing?
Well,
Charlton.
I mean, I had to look because I really don't give a monkeys about the FA Cup. Being a Norwich fan, I'll explain why in a minute. But they were away to Charlton. I do think we'll win. I think we'll win. We'll absolutely rip them apart 1-0. But I mean, if you look at Norwich's track record, they've made the semi-finals twice since I've been alive. I think in 2 in 3 years. I think they made the semi-final. In fact, it was the Hillsborough disaster year because they were playing Everton in the other semi-final and lost 1-0. And then a couple of years later, they played Sunderland, and I think Sunderland won this season in the league below. And was it that John Byrne who scored and had a really good sort of cup where he scored in every round of the cup?
Yeah.
And then they lost Liverpool, I think, in the final. But those that's the furthest Norwich have ever been in the cup. I don't think they've even made the quarter-final since then. So I don't really get that excited about it.
Have Norwich ever won?
Actually had more
have they ever
success.
won the FA Cup? Norwich.
No, they've won the Milk Cup, which was the old League Cup in '85 was the last time they won a trophy. Apart from obviously the Championship, they've won twice in the last 3 years as well, Ollie.
Yeah, probably win it next year as well.
Yeah, I think they. Well, yeah, too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Premiership. I think Mark Lawrenson said, and I've got to say that's probably true.
You're not down yet, though. It's still pretty tight down there.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be. I don't think Everton will be in it. I know it's not been good for Everton, but they are too good to go down. It's going to be 3 of Newcastle, Watford, Burnley, and Norwich, and I fear it will be. I would probably be Watford, Burnley, and Norwich. I think Newcastle will get out of it. I think Eddie Howe will do a good job in the second half of the season. I really do.
Newcastle
would be any happier than Rich about your manager appointment?
You what? Sorry.
Are you any happier than Rich with your manager appointment?
Yeah, I mean, look, Dean Smith. I mean, he's doing no worse than Farke, and he's working with the squad that Farke constructed. So I suppose, what he needs to do is make, whether we bring anyone in January, because obviously it's going to be a risk as we will go down to the Championship. But, he's been sniffing around Hourihane in around Villa, who's a scoring midfielder. We just need someone to score. We're always going to leak goals and always do. But Norwich used to sort of win their games when they were in the Prem in 2012, 2016, 3-2 or 4-3, but they would score goals as well as conceding, but they just can't score them at the moment. So they do need a striker because Pookie's just marked out of the game and they've got no other options. I mean, they've had a hatful, even against Palace in, they had a hatful of chances that actually probably Palace would have scored one or two of them. And that one just before Palace went and scored their second, a decent striker. So, they're getting themselves in positions. They just haven't got that quality to put them away. And that's the bit they need. And maybe someone who's sort of seasoned in the last sort of months or a year of their career, like Crouchy used to do for Stoke and stuff, but just get someone who's a proven goal scorer, but maybe not fit enough to play a whole game.
I'm trying to think of anyone who comes
but
to
there
mind.
Isn't anyone. We'll get Calvert-Lewin in, even hobbling. He probably put a few more.
The Chilean lad at Blackburn, surely he's got to move on. What is his name? Diaz. He's got to move on.
Diaz.
He might be a bit expensive now for Norwich. I don't know.
There's also that lad who I've forgotten his name, but he keeps scoring for QPR at the moment as well. I can't remember his name, but he's been playing really well this season. He'll get snapped up if QPR don't get promoted. So,
Dan, do you mind if I just take a few comments that have come through? Just bear with me because our answer might come through the comments. Who's the lad up front at QPR? Foxy's on. Great.
Yes, yeah.
Ian, really doing this during the City game? Yes, I am. But I've got City on in the background here. It's a part thing. Rich, that's dedication for you. And look, thoughts on Marco Silva from an Evertonian?
Yeah, this is for the Fulham chap who's just jumped off, actually. Yeah. So obviously Marco Silva was neutral at best at Everton. So it's interesting to get a view on kind of the Fulham point of view, or even the neutral point of view. He seems to be doing a good job, though.
Yeah, I mean, he did quite a good job at Watford, didn't he? And then he went to Everton. But, like Moyes going to United, Everton churned a few people at that stage. Maybe he was a decent manager underneath. If Rick pops back on, I'll ask him. But I think Rick was relatively happy with his tactics, his strategies, etc. Yeah. Errol's asking, FA Cup is back. Will there be any giant killers this weekend?
Hull versus Everton.
Yeah, we'll go through the list, Ollie, and I will go through the list.
Don't say Nottingham Forest, Ian, otherwise I will be upset.
I don't know. I mean, I can flick them up. And anyway, Dan, finish off against Norwich. Give us the forecast. What's going to happen? And then I'll flick up the rest of the ties and we can give opinions on any killings.
It'll be one of those games on BBC Sport or BT Sport that doesn't get a mention, and it'll either be 0-0 or 1-0 Norwich. I think Norwich will field quite whatever strong enough team they can do just to get some momentum, because I do believe if you get a win in the cup, sometimes you just carry that bit of attitude into your next game in the Premiership, which will be against Everton. And that's quite a winnable game at the moment comparatively to some of the games they've got coming up. So I think 1-0, and they will actually try on this one, would be my view.
I hope you win. Give the fans a little bit of a smile. Go into the fourth round draw on Monday, I think at 7:30.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw up a game for discussion, and I should be there. I was in London a couple of days this week, but I came back yesterday, and I was scheduled to go to watch Millwall play Crystal Palace. I just thought that could be a hell of a game.
Hell of a fight.
Millwall Palace is on tomorrow at 12:45. If anyone wants, it's not going to be for the faint-hearted. That 12:45, there's going to be trouble.
Yeah, there'll be potentially some big old fights outside the ground, I'd imagine. Not ones we'd see on TV, of course, but I'll tell you the other one that I think will be. So I don't know if you've mentioned
anyone
already.
Looks like they're going to fight anybody at Palace without been watching, but keep going.
It's Palace Brighton normally, isn't it? Huddersfield away to Burnley. Huddersfield having a good season in the Championship. Burnley, the fans will be on their back if they haven't scored in the first 20 minutes. That could be a bit of an upset. Well, it wouldn't be a big upset, but it would be a Premiership team out.
Mm-hmm.
West Brom at home to Brighton.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see Aston Villa beat Man United.
It would.
But to be fair, they've not.
So let's have a quick look at some of these ties. So tomorrow, Mansfield, Middlesbrough, and let's So you reckon Burnley, Huddersfield could be an upset?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few comments, guys. Mike Ashley's going to buy Derby for 50 million. He made a big profit out of Newcastle. That's good for Derby, isn't it? I think, I hate Rooney. I hate him with a passion. And I begrudgingly say, actually, he's done an incredibly good job at Derby to keep them rolling. They've had some really good wins over the top teams. I can't imagine Mike Ashley and Wayne Rooney in harness. It's bloody frightening, that, isn't it?
Christmas party would be good.
Yeah.
Although there will be no money behind the bar.
Yeah, I know. But I imagine that the social life there will be a riot. Millwall Palace will be a humdinger. What else have we got? Leicester Watford. What's your thoughts on that? Is it more woe for Watford?
I think so. Although I could see I could see that being quite a few goals in that, like 3-2 or 4-2 or something like that. I think that could be quite a fun one.
Leicester's are the holders as well. It depends if Leicester's put out a strong side, if they want to win it again, or they just think, we'll play a weakened side. And that's what all these early rounds will come down to, is how much you really want it. Because any of these Premier League teams, if they want to win it, they can win it very comfortably if they put out a decent side. But if they don't put out a decent side, that's when you get those upsets. That's when people think, hang on, they're taking the mick here a bit. They've got half their kids out. Let's go for them, which makes it a better game.
I've watched Watford about 4 or 5 times recently on the telly, to be fair, but the full game. And I felt they've been really unlucky. They had that win, was it against United? Was it United they beat?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
4-1. Yeah.
And I felt they've been really not had the rub of the green, been quite unlucky. I think they've got potential. Maybe there's a surprise there. Newcastle, Cambridge, any chance of a Cambridge win there, do we think?
No, Newcastle will win that.
Yeah, I think so.
West Brom, Brighton. That'd be interesting. Could Brighton come unstuck at West Brom because they're bloody good?
I reckon Port Vale will beat Brentford.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I missed that. You reckon?
Yeah.
Why?
Second division, nothing else really to play for this. Although they're doing okay in the second division, but be a ropier pitch than Brentford are used to. That's Brentford won't field one of their top sides, I don't think, and I just think that one could be a bit tighter than it looks on paper.
Yeah, I think Brighton may have a problem at West Brom as well. Looking for.
Is it? There's no replays, is there? Does it go straight to pens?
Yes.
Yes, for COVID. I think for COVID and not overrunning them with games and stuff. I think you're right, actually, Ollie.
Is there extra time in pens, or is it straight to pens?
We'll have to be extra time with them.
Yeah.
Some of these games they should just go straight to pens from the whistle.
Yeah.
Another from Errol. He says, "Oh,
he's having a go at me there."
Yeah, not Ollie at the wheel. He's talking about Ollie on the telly. What's it about United losing? Well, I think it's just form and your statistics.
It's the game of the round. It's the game of the round.
Ian, do you remember a few weeks ago when I was on and I said that I thought that Ronaldo had completely killed United for the season, and I got a bit of criticism for it. And now a lot of people are saying that. I feel I was first to voice that a few weeks ago, and actually a lot more people are thinking that now, that he's actually killed their season and taken that whole harmony out of the team.
You mean this Ronaldo?
That's Rodri, isn't it?
No, everyone, or it could be Cancelo, but actually it is actually Ronaldo.
It looks like Rodri.
Rodri, it does look like Rodri.
I got that in a shop in Portugal a few years ago. But there you go. Let's have a look at Sunday, because let's all be honest, lads. Let's all be honest on this. Have Shrewsbury got a prayer at Liverpool?
If it was the other way round, I think they would. But yeah.
Isn't Shrewsbury owned by a couple of film stars now?
That's Wrexham.
That's Wrexham.
Wrexham, yeah.
Ryan Reynolds and Rob from It's Always Sunny.
Are they even in the cup?
No.
No, they didn't even make it.
So we think Liverpool will go through nice and easy there.
Yeah.
Surely, Ollie, I'll be interested in your opinion there. Surely Spurs can beat Morecambe, can't they?
I mean, that's going to be a cricket score.
Yeah.
That will be a
Unfortunately.
cricket
If it had been the other way around, it would have been more funny to see Spurs go to Morecambe. But
I mean, it was lovely to see Spurs get beat by Chelsea and so convincingly as well, to be fair.
Yeah, apparently I didn't watch the game, but Chelsea turned it on.
They only had half a team out, Chelsea, and they still had Tottenham was so bad. It was nice to see.
2-0 down with a return leg. That I'd say they were back against the wall for that. West Ham Leeds. That's
a good game.
Should be a good game. That's Sunday at 2:00 for the neutrals.
West Ham have dropped a bit recently. Leeds have won a few games.
Oh no, West Ham won their last game quite well. They played great. I can't remember who they played, but they did well.
They won 4-1 or something, didn't they?
Yeah. Leeds have got Bamford back though, and that makes a big difference to the way that they play. It actually gives them an output. Without Bamford, they don't really have that.
Yeah.
The one I'm most excited about is Ethiopia versus Cape Verde. Oh no, that's the African Nation Cup. Sorry, it was in the same thing. I'm sorry about that, but that will be a cracking tie.
I went to Cape Verde once on holiday.
That was
all right, Cape Verde. I didn't even know they had a football team, but it was an okay holiday. It wasn't
7:00.
Fantastic place.
That is the game of the round, the FA Cup. Ethiopia versus
Ethiopia. I guess. West Ham Leeds for the neutrals. That's got to be a really good game, that hasn't it? That's got to be. And Bielsa will have a good go at West Ham there. And another really good game should be Wolves Sheffield United. Is there an upset there?
No, Wolves are settling down again now.
It'd be 2-0 Wolves, I reckon, just nice and easy.
Okay. And then really the last game. Who's going to predict this one? United against Villa.
I'm going for a Villa win on that one.
Oh, sorry.
I am too. Will Coutinho be a Villa player by then?
Yeah, announced the signing today on that one. Might not be registered in time.
But that's a really interesting signing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's $6 million for half a season, though. It's quite a pricey gamble.
He's not good enough anymore.
No. Be interesting. It's the same position as Buendia plays, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, it reminds me of James Rodriguez signing for Everton, in that you've got this player who hasn't really played for the last 18 months. He's still a big name. Obviously, still got some talent, but you wonder how much he'll actually contribute and play.
Yeah, he's the sort of player. If someone was going to take a gamble, either a season loan or buying him, you could do with a couple of months really good pre-season training for him to get up to speed. You're right. How it's like Sol when he joined Chelsea and he hadn't played for a little while. I mean, it's taken him. Apparently, he had a good game against Spurs, but there you go. Maybe we four could have a good game against Spurs. Sorry, guys, but it's taken him a while to get anywhere near. I think he might be a bit like Sol. Just find the Premier League a bit quick to join midway through the season. That's a big ask, isn't it?
It would be good though if he came on against Man United, scored a stunner, just to really just put it in there, and then he was rubbish. It was like, yeah, you did that game, nice one, mate. You did your job. See you later. We don't care about you anymore. Done.
But it's interesting because I think that kickoff. What time's that on Monday? Yeah, that's 7:55 in the evening. But I think the fourth round draw is before that game starts. Yeah, 7:30 according to what I looked it up. So the fourth round draw will be before they've actually played their game, which is a bit weird.
Should we have a prediction now on the show who we think will win the FA Cup?
Go on then, Ollie.
Well, it's going to be Arsenal. We've won it the most times.
If it wasn't Arsenal, Villa got a shout?
No. It's hard. No, I say I'm the one who's going, oh, let's pick who we think we should win. But you can't really pick it at this stage. But I don't know, I can see Liverpool winning it. Liverpool winning it because they need a trophy because they're not going to win the league. And the way they're playing right now, I don't know how well they're going to do in the Champions League. So, yeah.
That's an interesting shout. Rich, who do you reckon?
I'm going to go for Chelsea. I think Tuchel on a cup competition will just out-tactic everyone. So you'll get Lukaku firing again. So, and they're not going to focus as much on the league come the last 3 months. So I think the FA Cup's set up for them.
And Kante's now fit, and he is the engine room of the team.
Yeah.
Dan? Norwich.
It had to be done. It had to be done.
As Wigan did, those years ago. They'll be Man City in the final 1-0. No, I think Man City will win the cup. I think this could be the season where Pep gets the magic trio.
No way! Stop it!
No, I like this. I like this guy. I've got to tell you a story. I was telling Ollie about.
Man City can do the treble. No one will ever do the treble ever again. God. No,
I'm not sure. I'd just take the Champions League, even if we didn't win the league. It's just one of those things I want in my lifetime. I want in my lifetime to see City win the Champions League, and they'll never be as. I thought last year there would never be as good a chance to win the Champions League as last season. I actually think everyone's a bit stronger. Real Madrid are a bit stronger. Bayern Munich are a bit stronger. Chelsea are mature in that competition. Liverpool can on their day beat anybody. But funny a story I remember about that Wigan final. I was working for Charles II at the time, and we'd opened the store in Chicago. So I was out in Chicago, and it was like stupidly cold. But I decided to stay on after everyone else had gone and enjoy my weekend and take it to myself. And I booked at 3:00 in the pub. It was an Irish pub in Chicago. I'd got the Guinness ordered, the fish and chips ordered, and I got it sorted. And I got up early and I went to the birthplace of Ernest Hemingway, one of my heroes.
Legend.
Great. Wonderful. And I then went up to Oak Park to do a tour of the Frank Lloyd Wright houses and architecture, because, again, I love Frank Lloyd Wright and all that. So I'm having my perfect day that I've selfishly laid out to me. I arrive in the pub. It's 10-3. City are storming the league. Wigan are relegated. You're thinking, I'm just going to have about 4 or 5 Guinnesses, a nice fish and chips. I'll ease myself onto the plane in the evening. Life's good. Only City can fuck your whole day like that. Football is one of those games. You talk about the magic of the FA Cup. If you're a Wigan fan that day, a bit like all those years ago when Southampton beat Arsenal and about Man United, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say they didn't beat us.
Sorry, it happens. It happens, doesn't it? It does happen.
Yeah.
It's not happening for Swindon, I have to say, but it does happen. Who knows? There may be some surprises we never come up with tomorrow and Sunday. If Wigan can beat City when City had a golden team and Wigan had got relegated, who the hell knows?
Come on, Shrewsbury. That's it.
You've got some more. You got some more comments here.
Ooh, yeah, I have. Let's put some more comments in here.
Manchester United to win the FA Cup.
It's funny that Silo would say that.
City will never win the Champions League. Cheers, Errol. Thank you. Come on, I can't die without City winning the Champions League. Of all these years of suffering, come on.
To be fair, you cheat enough and you pay enough to
get out of town.
Reps and stuff, so you probably be all right.
Every time they get to a final, I should have. Errol's getting his own back because I was on his show earlier this morning giving him a bit of a barracking. I love Errol. He's one of the best guys ever. But we're going to have our day, Errol. You're going to be there. Maybe I'll join you for a beer in the final and we'll watch it, actually. But
would you say then, Ian? Would you say you would take the Champions League over the Premiership then?
This season, I would, yeah. Just this season. Never usually. It's just something we've got to get out of our system. And when you look at Pep's, I was looking at Pep's track record in the number of leagues he won in La Liga. I think it was like 4 out of 5 years that he was a manager of Barcelona. And Bayern Munich, it was like 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4, something ridiculous. And if City win this season, the number of Premier, leagues he's won, but hasn't won the Champions League since Barca.
You won't. If you lose the league this year, you won't win the Champions league by only because you're 10 points ahead at the moment, so you'd have to start really falling apart, which would then fall into your form and stuff going into the Champions League. So I can't see you losing the Premiership, and I think you will win the Premiership by like over 10 points quite easily. And I suppose it's just that momentum.
I hope so. Shit happens, but I hope so. Liverpool are incredibly good. Chelsea are improving. City have got Chelsea next. As Chelsea come into form, it just takes one bad day at Chelsea, or at City actually. It's City Chelsea rather than Chelsea City. It just takes one day to turn your season.
It just takes one person in a van in VAR to turn your season into what you want it to be.
No,
right, we're not finishing the show on that. The magic of the FA Cup.
You're going to win it out of canter. How about that?
I hope so. But in terms of the FA Cup, I hope for you guys' sake that your teams all get through against Banana Skins. I really do. But there's got to be a surprise somewhere to keep that magic going. And let's say to Errol, I hope the surprise is at Old Trafford. I hope Villa and Steven Gerrard dance all the way around Old Trafford. And, Wreck-It Ralph. It comes in for more stick than ever before. Ollie, last word?
I would just like to say it's been a lovely show. Thank you very much for having me. And it's been lovely company, guys. And we're doing another show on Sunday evening, are we?
Yeah, Monday. I thought we'd do it while United were on.
Monday evening after the United got knocked out in the draw.
Guys, if you win, you got to come on. Dan, if you win, you got to come on and just.
In fact, that's the deal. That's the deal.
If you win, on, kiss the badge.
If you win, you have to come back on. That's the deal.
Deal.
There's more comedy if we lose.
Huh? Yeah.
There's more comedy if we lose.
All right.
Yeah,
win or lose, come back on. Tell us what you thought.
You've got to come back on if you win.
Thank you, chaps. Thank you. Have a lovely evening. We can watch City's second half now. Adios. Cheers.
See ya.
Cheers. Oh, hang on. Cheers. The magic.
That was great. That was really good.
Cheers, Ollie.
Really enjoyed that.
For those watching and when it goes out tomorrow, please share us, like us, do all that magic. I was mentioning on the banter group, but I'm not like Mike. I'm not Mr. Twitter. I'm not down with the kids. But, for all those watching, all our friends, it's the FA Cup. Those magicians on Twitter, whatever you do, please share the show on because actually it's been a bundle of fun, hasn't it?
It has been great.
Cheers. See you Monday night, Ollie.
See you Monday. Bye.